So the only reaction I got from last week's video is the fact that I guess the internet has decided, and they will go down with this ship. They won't. Alright, I won't sing. Either way, we're back with Wynonna Earp. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Wynonna Earp, Episode 3, Season 2, Gonna Get You Good. Doc tries to help a friend, and Wynonna deals with an angry... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word, which is kind of like a genie, but more evil. And let me just say, genies are pretty evil. Alright, so tonight's episode is the third, and we got a little more information. But before we go too far into this, let's just take a quick look at where we've been. We already know that Doc's trying to build something, most likely the drug for dolls, and we also know that there's a chance that Waverly's adopted. Going into this episode, there's a lot of expectations, so let's throw this up there and get started. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. And I totally take back all of my jokes from last week. I'm totally on page with Officer Haught. Oh, and I completely agree with her. That is everybody's thing. Okay, so the episode itself picks up with a little bit of a question in my mind. Wynonna was always the black sheep of the town, but now we're seeing more and more that she had some somewhat friendly people around, and I have to wonder about that, if that's a retcon. Seeing as how I haven't read the comics, I'm going to have to look into that. In the meantime, we have Black Badge picking up yet another specialty case, and we have Officer Haught still throwing a hissy fit. Nope, this is straight up murder. Yup. People straight up murder people by ripping out organs and leaving the organ at the scene of the crime. Happens all the time. Just like black eyes showing up on our new witch. Happens all the time. In this case, did the eyes turn black because she got randy instead of because she got angry or murdery? Well, either way, we also got something almost immediately in the next scene about the gun. Because if you noticed, only the tip of the barrel was glowing when this demon scarecrow thing showed up. I'm wondering what that means. Maybe the special effects department just didn't get the whole gun done this week? I don't know. Now, most of this episode is dealing with sins of the past and the idea of if you can outgrow your own past. Do you have to deal with the things that you did before? And of course, that's a reoccurring theme on Wynonna Earp. Because of course, she deals with the sins of her father, her grandfather, her great-grandfather, all the way back to Wyatt. But she also deals with everything else that she did when she was younger. Now, in this particular case, it's this teenage hockey team and what they were willing to sell in order to get what they wanted. In this case, the victory for the small town. And I guess when you really think about it, there are football towns in the Midwest where this sort of thing wouldn't be that abnormal. Now, this was the part of the video that I'd set aside to talk about making wishes and making deals and dark genies. Instead, I'm going to talk about the fact that the kid got away with taking pictures up the skirt of cheerleaders. And you know why I'm going to talk about that? Not because I'm a big feminist, not because I have a big problem with guys being jerks on TV shows, but because my niece is a cheerleader. And you know what? If there's one thing that I absolutely find that I cannot stand, it's the objectification of them. And the fact that this kid got away with it because his family is rich just totally rubbed me the wrong way in this environment where I'm watching rich people get away. I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of political here. Let me take a second or two off, and then we'll come back and talk about genies. Okay, and I have a couple of these left over from when I was doing my reviews of boys and girls stories. Aladdin is the classic story of wish fulfillment. And we really, with the Scarecrow genie thing this time, got a pretty good look at what a more realistic take on that is. The Jinn, the actual fantasy stuff that we're used to, actually has more in common with the Wishmaster movies than with Aladdin. Because they were demons of fire, and they were creatures of the elements, and they would play with humanity by granting wishes, sometimes in the most improbable ways, just to mess with you. And well, let's be honest, if you were 17 years old, you probably would not have the legalese to make a wish in such a way that it could not screw you over. And as we've already seen on this show before, there's already an example of someone who got to make a deal for immortality and got caught off with more than he implied. So, The episode goes on with the idea of if they capture the genie, they can use the genie as a distraction in order to get what they need for dolls, and of course, we still have the fact that no one knows for sure what Doc's up to, including us, the audience, aren't 100% sure. So I guess in that way, we also have a theme of be careful of what you wish for, you might just get it. And that even plays up right near the end, when the question becomes, if you were mad at your sister, have you ever wished her dead? Well, I have a sister, so I also was a teenager once, so I totally could be down with the fact that that might have happened from time to time. Of course, if you're the Gardner family, you might have a bunch of shades working for you. Now, that might not be exactly the way it works out, but it's definitely at least hinted at that way. Now we have also everything that went on with Officer Haught and the sheriff, and I think I want to actually think about that for a while before I actually post anything. So I'll start next week's video talking about that. For now, I'm mostly curious what you think about genies and whatever the scarecrow thing is, and what the plan was. Let me know down in the comment section. And in the meantime, I'm going to think long and hard about exactly what's been going on, because I think that those shade things might have something to do with that thing that blew up Black Badge to begin with. And if so, then maybe letting in the creatures when the end of last season might have something to do with it too. There's a lot of stuff to consider, and I'd love to hear your theories down below as well. Next week, join me back here again as we again review Wynonna Earp, as we look at episode 4. For now, think about Officer Haught, who might grow into becoming Sheriff Haught before the end of this series is over, which I think would be pretty cool. And let's think about Doles, and what it would take to scare Doles, because when he saw black-eyed Waverly, he was scared shitless. And I want you to think about what next episode's going to bring, and when we might finally get some answers in episode 4. And in the meantime, what I need you to also do is hit that like and share button, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the notification button as well. I'm trying to build a community here where I'm talking about storytelling, story concepts, and of course reviewing all of these different shows. If you'd like to come along for the ride, we have one destination and one destination only, and that is to get to the heart of the stories we tell. Thanks for watching and have a good night.